Hey, good evening, friends. Stash is back to the Stash Prada channel after a long hiatus. Hope I didn't get too late for my friends. Tonight, I'm talking about the paranormal in all its forms. I have too many shades to wear. At some point in the show, I'm going to try my square shades. What is up? We're going to be talking about ghosts, UFOs, demonology, perhaps even the Kabbalah. Although I'm not an expert. Oh, I just lost the one viewer. Live chat. Anyway, I hope I'm not too late for my friends who are going to come on with me. If they can't make it, I understand. You can watch this in retrograde. Retro. I'm going to leave in the liner notes. I was in a UFO film, the Ricky Lime story, Out of This World. That was very cool. The idea was you never know if he was delusional from drugs and alcohol and paranoid or real, and he bases his life on a kind of a Ouija board activity, the Magic 8 Ball. He asked the Magic 8 Ball if it's real. Full disclosure. Anybody from the Disclosure Club out there? My friends in Oklahoma. How about anybody on the ghost tours? Ghost tour people? Shoot, I was like 6 minutes late. You guys probably went to bed, unless I was supposed to be here at 6. If not, whatever, watch it on thing. I just love when people live chat. I got press the thing. Anyone there? It's Thursday night. How's everybody? I hope you don't have the coronavirus, and if you do, that you're enjoying. Do your vitamin C, your zinc, your echinacea, your astragalus. Drink plenty of fluid. The Taoist method is to immerse yourself in incredible heat. Try to burn the corona out of yourself. Don't take that as that makes you immune, but it certainly will help the symptoms if you can hack it. Very strange. I spent October, September doing ghost tours. I enjoyed it immensely. We did social distancing. I always kept the mask up. But doing anything during this time is a bit of a nightmare, as you might expect. It's the dystopia. The cities are looking like Blade Runner, the new one and the old one. Incredible. Anybody out there, give me a shout. Hey, Banana Bug. That's a cool name. That's at least as cool as Stash Prada. Yeah, so glad to see you guys. Can't believe it. How about let's hear it for the ghost stories. I enjoyed talking about it so much. You too. Yes, it was a rough holiday for me. Thank you so much for the wishes. Thank you. I hope I look good in my hat. I hate my hair doesn't look good tonight, friends. So I'm covering up. I'm ready. Some people are in the house tonight that did some ghost tours with me, so I'm more than delighted. We will keep most of their identities with full anonymity, but I gather they had a good time. I had a good time. I do a very egalitarian thing. We all do it together. I love the whole idea of the ghost tours because Tomb Raider, friend of Tomb Raider. I love Angelina. Brad Pitt is cooler than me, but I wish I could be a friend of Angelina. Oh yeah, I guess I got the Tomb Raider blue colors. I love it. Yeah. For those of my friends who went on the ghost tours, it was really wild. I took my pretty decent knowledge of esoteric Taoism and combined it with old New England ghost stories, which of course was weird, but nobody complained, and I really liked it. So I added a new thing. I kind of speculated that people had been on a lot of ghost tours, and they had gotten the New England jive, and I gave something functional. What I love about the whole ghost thing is whether you're a PhD, a world leader, a movie star, none of us can say definitively we know what it is. Even the most experienced people in that, there's some edges, as far as I gather. I'm going to leave in the liner notes the information for Sam, psychic guy. He's liked some of my stuff on Twitter. But the stories are amazing, and Salem is an awesome town. Hey, Noodle Bricks. Who's Noodle Bricks? Do I know you off here? Can you give me a thing without blowing the identity? I'm glad I've got some people in the chat tonight, and we're gonna have a good time. I understand people are gonna have to drop off. I'm gonna talk. I plan to talk for a while tonight, so I don't expect anybody to hang on. But hopefully, we get into some good stuff. Anybody have any ghost stories? Put them right in there, and I'll sure read through the little chat box thing, because this is what YouTube is all about. And I'm so glad we're not talking politics tonight. That's what I say. So being from New England, I've got to have some Dunkin' Donuts. Allegedly New England. Oh, yeah. So the spirits, I have a newfound respect, friends. Ooh. Are you able to, Banana Bug, can you lay it out for me, and can I read it through this thing, or is it privacy oriented? I understand. Because I'm going to tell my ghost stories, but you go first. Banana Bug. I love that name. I also love touring with you guys, and the kindness that people showed me was incredible. I wanted to go to restaurants with everybody. There are actually couples and groups of people that did take me over. Oh, okay, type it through the thing. The live chat. Apologize to everybody. I'm not that good at YouTube. As you might see, I have thousands of videos, and they're not that good, but we have fun. Oh, I would love to hang out with you guys. I know you guys are awesome, and you know what? If you can make it up this way, give me a shout, and I'll meet you down Salem town. Oh, okay. Banana's husband. So you would be grapefruit? No, just kidding. Banana's husband. Okay. Oh, so Noodle Bricks might know. Oh yeah. I know. Can you believe that? I ask every night. I mean, I felt embarrassed that I'm a Coast listener. I mean, I shouldn't be. It's a good show, but it's on late, so it means that you're kind of a screwball and you're staying up too late. And we had finally one gentleman who knew what it was. I mean, I'm not embarrassed to say that I'm a fan of it, but it probably means that you stay up too late. I was for years a comic. The comedians, when they drive, believe me, they don't all listen to politics at night. Many listen to Coast. Oh wait, can Banana Bug give me the ghost story? Okay. So I was probably like 10. I had two imaginary friends that I considered brother and sister. Obviously, imaginary friends you don't get to actually see, but at one point I was walking down the hallway. So our hero and our protagonist, two imaginary friends walking down the hallway at one point. So we're getting to it. This is sounding like The Shining. Maybe you have The Shine. Go ahead. Sorry. 10 years old, I would say more psychic. As we get, some people claim that kids are more psychic, that people get more jaded in life. And a white flash like a person came running past me. Shortly after that, another white person shaped like a flash ran past me again. So this is interesting. Coast to Coast would have a lot of great shows about the shadow people. And Banana Bug, our friend, had a white shadow person. Usually they're shadows, okay? I always thought it was the imaginary friends I had because it so clearly resembled a young girl and a young boy. So these entities appeared like a young boy and a young girl. They're little friends, okay? Oh, this is getting good. Keep going, BB. I don't even know if you're supposed to read things in the chat. Yeah, I guess people read things in the chat. So it was so weird because it was clear as day. So would you say there's light like I have in this room? I'm sorry about the lighting in here, artificial. Then there's the sun that's natural. And then there's some people say there's your aura. So sometimes if you have chi, you can see that in between. It's like a white milky substance. Would you say that the light of the boy and girl were of that type, like an aura? White and milky. Okay, yeah, that's sort of my thing of chi. Yeah, that's my take of chi. My master showed it for me for the first time. We went into the the restroom of his school, and over the thing, and then he showed me in between here and the milky white natural substance. Of course, it's beautiful. I mean, because of its neutrality, would you agree it's superior to electric lights, right? It is. I say it's superior. It's natural light. Okay, they were all open natural light in the room they were in. Okay, good. And the windows were all open, natural light in the room they were in. Okay, so definitely the white. So it's a natural white and milky substance. So it wasn't BB's light, unnatural light in the room messing up, reflecting off her eyes. So I gather we confirm. We're talking about aura light, chi light, spirit light, whatever you want to call it. Thick, white, milky shaped like people that came running past me at full speed. Like I can't mistake for anything else. If you guys remember, there's a famous story in Salem in the alleyway behind Rockefeller's restaurant of the Blue Lady. I thought the story that there's a story about this Irish woman indentured servant. To make a long story short, you're gonna want to see Sam Balderas' Salem Ghost Stories for more. I think he talks about that, or I'll leave his stuff in the liner notes. I always give everything that I reference. I thought she went through the people slowly, this apparition. It's true, she went fast. So with the speed involved, full speed. I can't mistake that for anything else. Yeah. So these entities, they existed independently, or do you think they're using some Jungian, some Freudian psychoanalysis? What's the projection aspect? Do you think there's anything on that? They were imaginary friends. Did you make them into being? What are your feelings on that? What are your evidence that they were separate entities from the power? Let's face it, all our minds are very powerful. We're the ultimate psychodrama in our own life. Do you think, BB, that you were affectionate to the imaginary friends and they came to life from the power of your own mind? Or do you have any clues as to they were separate other than the chi light? In other words, did you create these Indragors? I think they have a name of it. Or did you create a servitor or familiar with the power of your own mind? Is it a blend of, what is it? Is it a blend? What do you guys, anybody listening now, what do you think? Is it a blend of psychoanalysis, Jungian psychology, mind power, self-developed psychodrama, or separate entities? Or do both things exist? What do you guys think? Sorry, I'm asking too many questions. Anybody in the listening audience? I just had 5 people. Somebody had to drop off. I got 4 people. Any of you guys, any of the 4, do you dig it what I'm saying? Oh, you kidding me? Go ahead. 2 more is more than I thought. Yeah, PP, do it up. I need you. I need your help. We're going to read them right on the air. If you don't mind, I'm going to switch to my other shades for a minute. For your next story, okay? Your next story. Oh, these are pretty good too. What are you gonna? They make my nose look a little bit big. All right. I kind of like Robert De Niro in, the gambling movie. Okay, so we've got another ghost story to share from BB. We had one involving imaginary friends. Fascinating. We've established natural light. Oh, by the way, I just wrote a book about Led Zeppelin, Boleskine House, and Aleister Crowley. He did a spell there, from the Goetia, I believe, Goetic magic, and he didn't finish it. And they said to be in the house some areas that wouldn't get light. Natural light wouldn't go there. They had to be lit with artificial light. Something happened. He opened a rift. Fooling around at Boleskine House. That's above Loch Ness Monster. You're talking about probably the most spooky mansion in the world. It's Jimmy Page is from Led Zeppelin, the famous guitar player, bought the place. The Loch Ness Monster in a lake. Go ahead. Oh, we got it. Okay, so even younger. BB was about 5. I had a short, wide window above my bed. I woke up in the middle of the night to see dark handprints on the window. Was terrified. And we have a comment from Noodle Bricks. Perhaps due to her young age with the raw, untapped ability to see things, maybe it was a slipgate that allowed her to witness ethereal beings. I don't know. I'm guessing out here. LOL. Raw, untapped ability. We all come in this world and have all kind of negative experiences. The children are, the younger we are, we're more pure than, technically. I'm not putting any moral thing on me or you or anybody. And more open to the power of Santa Claus. You cannot say that Santa Claus is not real. That is no. When you're a child, it is as real as anything. And other phenomena is more real. As we get older, of course, we get terrified of things more than the children, actually, even though we think of children being scared, in my opinion. And yeah, they have the more untapped, the word, I like the word, raw untapped ability. The word that NB used. I had a short, wide window above me. I woke up in the middle of the night to see dark handprints on the window. I was terrified. Oh, I lost a listener. Now I'm down to 3. Yeah, okay, so could it have been a creepy neighbor doing that? Or did you establish that it had to be a paranormal activity, the hands? I'll take your question on the air. I've got too many shades, I know. So the window, and you didn't hear anything on the window. No accounting for the handprints. Terrifying. It is terrifying. I like that. You ran to the parents and just like, go back to bed. Yeah. A large gate. Ooh. Oh, I got my listener back. That's creepy. 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 The imaginary friends could have been up there. You know, an interesting thing that I just heard. Okay, sorry. I know. Go back to bed. This is a little risque, but I always wonder how, when there is a horror movie, that the people shower up. I'm just saying. In other words, to be attractive women, and there's been a series of murders, but they still shower up. I know, that was very adult. I apologize. Second experience I had was at the same age, the same bedroom. I woke up again in the middle of the night to a black figure walking past the doorway into my parents' room. I did the usual kid thing and hang under the covers. So the black shadow thing is like Noodle Bricks and me were talking. That's more coast to coast AM type of story. The shadow people reporting the shadow people seem to be most terrified of the red eyes. I've heard, and it's not limited to people. I think it's a black dog experience. So the shadow people are the black figures, as far as I know. I've got some YouTubes where I made some shadow people. They're hiding under the covers. I guess the thing that you have to do if you really think you're in trouble with demonic activity is you have to get some salt and make a circle. And get in a circle and don't get up. Yeah. You know, the funny thing, when they say sleep paralysis, sometimes I wonder if that's just shrink jargon for something that's really real. You know? Yes, I have felt that too. I was in a difficult situation in life. I had lost a best friend, and there had been a terrible thing that separated the best friend and myself. Some terrible deceptions that were just beyond, and I didn't have close to comprehend the deception. The best friend and I were separated, and I had the experience of the pushing down, incredible pushing down. I don't know if it was fear. Did you have some nasty business going on when you had the sleep paralysis? I'm just curious. You might have even told me that when we were live, when we were on the ghost tour. I'm not sure. Yeah. So it's hard to say if it's psychology or when you're in deep despair, do you draw the shadow entities in? Could be. If you could, yeah. Ooh. But what is interesting to me is you saw light beings too. Without getting too Walt Disney World, would you say that did you say something that the entities, the boy and girl, were more friendly entities and the shadow one was hostile? Interesting to me. I'm utilizing my side computer to look up some jargon. Also, some seriously terrifying nightmares. The PTSD of the soldiers, some people say, the nightmares are equal to or even superior to actual physical injuries. Which is why I always bring the troops home. No war. Too much pain. For those of you, for reference, there's some people in the chat room tonight. We were on a ghost tour together, and it went very well. They were for sure friendly and nice. I tend to think that's why they appeared as lights in white. For anybody who's coming here, I'm sure Banana Bug and I, we're not talking about color necessarily having any moral context to it. It's just that this light is not, we're not talking about, skin and color. Just to clarify, we're talking about, it's not a human thing, this light. It's a beyond that. We're talking about the chi, the power, different than that. Going back to the Boleskine House comments, that's the I just needed to clarify that because these days everybody's so sensitive. I don't blame them, so we just had to say that. I was talking about the Boleskine House, Led Zeppelin. I will leave in the liner notes a great book, and I'm going to be rapping about this on another YouTube. The stuff that the Beast was doing. Right, not skin color, aura color. I had to say that. You're saying that much more eloquent than me. Because I'm going to clarify this because I've done a lot of occult YouTubes, and I've been wishy-washy about it. The author of the Led Zeppelin book, which escapes me. Oh, I lost 2 listeners. I know. It's a long show. We're going to be on all night. I wish I had Patreon. I could ask for $5 or something. That Crowley, the great magician and sorcerer, was not totally in control of what was going on. He himself may have been possessed by the entities that he contacted. This is troubling because if you go on Amazon or anything like that, I mean, you can now readily get anything you want from every ancient grimoire. Grimoire is grammar in English. You can get all the spells you want. If you believe in that sort of thing, you can make a pact with the devil. You can do this, that. You can do all kinds of stuff. It's disturbing. And then when you go around cities, I've seen the most real ones, the sigils in New Orleans. Actually, there's this street I was on up on Capitol Hill area, Denver, Colorado. There's a lot. There's all these stickers. People are dabbling, and I don't know what consequences it has. I don't know what consequences it has. And with the internet, you can do anything you want. Yeah, but not skin color or color. Yeah, we had to clarify. I don't know why I said that. Because I just did a spy movie and I used the term black operative, and that doesn't mean anything like that. That just means secret, but the people edited it out for consideration, which might be good. Because people are sensitive now. Does Noodle Bricks have any ghost stories? Oh, how do you feel about the Ouija boards being sold in the kids section of the Target, Walmart, etc.? I find it sort of horrendous. Let me switch back to my even weirder glasses for that. Yes, I agree with you. Horrendous indeed. The Ouija board is "oui" in French and "ja" in German, is indeed for contacting entities. If you have been through the ordeal that is the movie The Exorcist, that's what whatever the girl's name in that movie was involved with. I'm looking sinister right now. Sorry. She had a Ouija board. I don't remember if they show her fooling around with it, but she gets possessed. Regan, yeah, you're absolutely right. Regan. They lived right in Georgetown, and when I used to drive by that street with the tall stairway, scared the shit out of me. Right in Georgetown, the really tall stairway that the priest falls down in. Ooh, I'm gonna get to Noodle Bricks on that in a sec. that we're getting from the Exorcist with the Ouija board. And they show in the beginning of the movie with the wings, Panzul. So somehow Regan was on the Ouija board. She made contact with Panzul, demon. That's the one where they show the archaeologist, Panzul. It's got like fly wings and a weird picture. Probably fooled the kid and got inside her. And what's the most scary thing is probably the voice they used as this actress. They used an actress who had smoked all the time. So she had this incredible raspy voice. The audio was just as scary as any of the puke or the head turning around. Scariest movie ever made. It's not a movie, it's an ordeal. I don't mind saying that William Peter Blatty knew E. Howard Hunt, who was a CIA guy who did work on Madison Avenue, that they have tricks on Madison Avenue in Hollywood that are so sophisticated, even back in the 70s, that audiences went to that, and that movie was so scary, and they puked their brains out. It's nothing funny about it. It completely messed up. But she made contact with Panzul, the demon. I believe it was a Babylonian origin. The Ouija board, like Banana Bug says, is nothing to fool around with for kids, or adults for that matter. They Parker Brothers in Salem. That's the real pronunciation said before. Salem is a religious city, and that it's the Jerusalem, Salem. Parker Brothers made that Ouija board, and in Salem Common over here, they made the largest one in the world. Very spooky, but no, it's no way should they sell that shit to kids. Sorry to swear. Okay, we're at Noodle Bricks. The first experience that comes to mind for me is one quiet afternoon. I was in the middle of talking to her when it felt like I was paused within the physical dimension. I noticed a solid white hand reached into my memories, which is the best way I can describe it, and scooped something out. Picture sticking your hand into a box and pulling something out. My memories were all active, moving animation squares, like a YouTube feed, but everything was animated and moving in childhood through adolescence. But solid white hand grabbed whatever memories it wanted and popped out. And just like that, I was back into reality. So, Noodle Bricks had an experience. People, when they're saved, they go to church, they sing, and some people come in contact with a lot of energy. The Holy Spirit. According to demonology and things like that, there's a whole pantheon of angels and demons. Just like the title of Dan Brown's fantastic Angels and Demons. The demonologists and people tap into them. Dan Brown has probably became a superstar because of his clever reference to the Illuminist, the Order of Illuminati, high magicians of a high order, and from Bavaria. The most infamous of all the secret societies. What do they know about it? Demonology, witchcraft, things like that. Was this event for Noodle Bricks psychological? Or, at a time, or you're connected to BB energy in your area, something tapped in. An agent, in other words, what I'm taking is Noodle Bricks. This was not of your doing. Something came in, took out information from you, right? Paused within this physical dimension. The solid white hand reached into the memories. Your description here of the way the mind works is similar to what I think. Memories are all active, moving animation squares. Yeah. The white hand, could it have been the two entities that Banana Bricks is in contact with? The list of things that could have occurred to Noodle Bricks and Banana Bug are endless. One could be, this is really weird, somebody from your DNA, your ancestry, wanted to know something. They came down and got some information. Don't know. I remember too, his pupils got huge and it was like he was staring straight through me. He was standing up and then fell right to the floor. Oh, some activity. So the white hand could indicate the Holy Spirit power. The ancestry thing was really far out for me. I've never really thought that. When I was doing tours, I had heard from people much more experienced than me that if a person with the DNA of the spirits in the area came in contact, there was somebody who was deceased that was from Connecticut, but they had moved over to Salem, and they made contact. Or if there was people who were, old Yankees, and they were involved in the Puritan Brotherhood, the Puritan people who came over here, then they go on these sites, and they're allegedly more likely to make contact. So it could be an ancestral thing. Or she's made contact with these two entities, right? And they come in. I don't know. These are all in the mix. I don't claim to know anything more about this than Noodle Bricks and Banana Bug, so don't mind me. I'm just throwing this out there. I put the Holy Spirit thing in because I was recently speaking to somebody that had been in church and did fall physically to the floor, a person who had been in contact with what they dubbed the Holy Spirit power. I've been taught through my esoteric Taoism training, or hearsay, that people of good intention go to church. Sometimes they're helped. Sometimes something else slips in, allegedly. I don't mean to make anybody mad if you're saying I would go to a service, the Baptist or the Protestant or this one or that one, and nothing would ever slip in negatively. I don't know. This is a comment of somebody that I got from was both involved in Christianity and Taoism with a T or a D. But let's be frank. No matter how religious and devoted to your denomination, religion of every type is associated with higher mysticism, esoteric stuff, and things that are not shared with us, just like politics. All right? Does anybody contest that? I say that. We don't know everything. We don't know it. We don't know anything. We don't know what's going on right now. What's this coronavirus? What is this that everybody's the propaganda that nobody can speak to each other anymore? It's strange and it's sad. This is the worst time in my life right now. Period. I don't know what you guys think. This is the worst time. This is the worst. This 2020, 2021 is the worst year of my life, and I'm not the only one to say it. This is terrible. This is terrible. And this is a new way. We might be more experiencing, just like we are, my new friends tonight, speaking through these electronic means. This is the new way. This is the great reset. This is the post this or that. I don't know. I hope not. Because God, do I just miss just rapping with people on the streets where we should be outside, Noodle Bricks, you got another ghost story, brother? We're going live. Live. Isolation is a form of torture. It's true. You know, it's like we complain because some people we don't get along with. Some people certainly I annoy, and they don't want to see me. But we still need them. None come to mind at the moment. That's cool. I like that ATM. I like those LOL and smiley face things because I can't spell for shit. So it's better. One thing I learned in the previous months is the respect for the spirits, and I have just partaken in a lecture by the great occultist and high up Freemason Manly P. Hall regarding ceremonial magic. And what was interesting is he's an expert. Of course, he was a scholar in such things. And I've always thought if you had the power to talk to the dead, I think I would always assume, like, if I've had the power to the dead, I will ask my deceased relative or friends, you know, the lotto number or something, or some knowledge. And I guess just because they're deceased doesn't mean they're privy to that knowledge or that they will let you have it. Because he was talking about one of the greatest occultists that ever lived, named Alpheus Levi. Forgive me if I mispronounce this man's name. Alpheus Levi was doing his divination to the dead, his necromancy stuff. Necromancy, talking to the dead. Probably the word they get the Necronomicon from H.P. Lovecraft, from that magical art. And so he used his magic skills to conjure up and talk to this dead occultist guy because he wanted to consult him for some secrets, right? But he calls up the dead guy, and the guy was dead. But that didn't mean he wanted to talk about and reveal the secrets to him, which I thought was funny. He's like, he did his magic circle, and he does all his stuff, and he conjures the guy, probably appearing in a fire with a smoke. And the guy says, teach me the secret to this grimoire, this spell. And the guy was like, no. I thought that was funny. And when I did, you know, when I was doing as a ghost tour guide, it was interesting. Just without thinking, I began to have this idea, or changing my mind about what one of the aspects is, this respect for the ghost, right? Good. Send that guy to voicemail. You know, because you're going around to the places, cemeteries, mansions, places. Well, that's their place. So you do that, but you got to respect them. And there were actually experiences that I were people that were affected. That I don't want to give the tour away, you know, because people over there make a living on that. But there's a spot there. Well, I guess I can talk about the Joshua Ward Mansion, where people have felt strangulation feelings and feelings of being watched. Not just once, but hundreds of times, reports. This is the most haunted place in Salem, probably New England, right? Right? Yeah. Yeah. I think that they want to rest in peace. People have negative experience. This message is held for review. That message was held in review because Noodlebrick used the word jackass. The word jackass contains the word ass. Exactly. So the sheriff was a bad man in life, and he's a bad man when he's dead. So you got to respect him. No, don't be sorry. I'm kidding. Sorry, I've used profanity tonight on these things. You know what I'm really psyched about tonight's discussion with you guys is it doesn't involve anything about the news or politics. That's what I'm saying. So the different people who, you know, I've been honored to make contact. Like if you go on Twitter, paranormal is more interesting than politics. You know, the incredible work that people do across the country in doing this stuff. But I can't help thinking that there's all these paranormal ghost teams consisting usually of 3 guys and 1 attractive woman, which is cool, or part of the theater, or whatever. I didn't mean to be sexist by saying attractive or not. Certainly the attractive woman is competent ghost hunter. But I just gotta think. There's probably 10,000 ghost hunting teams across this country and in England. England, by which has always been the most haunted. England and Scotland, of course. You can tell. It's ready-made. Everything's ghost over there. Even during the day, the Parliament building is scary. The Parliament building looks like it's haunted at 2 in the afternoon. Yeah, I know. That's right. It's an element of the theater. The aesthetic isn't needed, I guess. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, I guess. I don't know. Where is it going with it? Yeah, you got 10,000 ghost hunting teams around. You just got to wonder if what the spirits think of this. Shit. They're coming in with all that equipment. When it's active during the day, too. Yeah. I've heard that you use temperature as one of the means to telling if there's ghosts. So temperature change is a huge clue. Indeed. And then they have the infrared cameras or whatever. I've had the most luck telling people to take about 5 photographs and number 6 or 4, whatever, and they get something. And what I marvel at is the person who I would always be stunned at the person who would come up with something, because sometimes they would be quiet and they didn't necessarily look like the person that would discover it. Well, the most wild thing, you get somebody who's completely reluctant, almost hostile to any type of belief in this type of phenomena, and they encounter it. And that was one guy and his girlfriend that I met, a big guy and his girlfriend, that actually complained of strangulation feelings. Anything that lives or is attached to the faculty is exhausted all the time. Some people get action, some people don't. From my limited knowledge, I think it takes a ton of energy to manifest. Yes. That's why, put Lizzie Borden's bread and breakfast. The spirit of Lizzie Borden is contacted. I don't know if you guys remember when I was ghosting, I was exactly like what Banana Bug's talking about now. The idea of observation called it up, right? Dude, buzz off. Yeah, and no doubt these new cell phones and stuff pick up this stuff. The live action, I mean, there's places where I saw the mist float by, and it looked like a ghost. The thing with all this phenomena is you can never be sure. You can never be sure, but you sort of know, which is very strange. People say that you're observing something and this phenomena will be caught by your eye. So is that spatial problem of the person? Certainly what's most intriguing to me is you go around different restaurants in New England, and of course particularly Salem, but also Beverly, even in Danvers over there. The most legitimate ghost story experience is the one that isn't recorded. I think that's absolutely 100% true. 100% true. I do think people are very sensitive, and they can very readily speak to them with ease and experience. But I agree. I think what Banana Bug is saying is these entities, these ghosts, they're going to talk when they want to talk. I think that's what we are both getting at here, Banana Bug and me. They're gonna talk when they want to talk. And the interesting thing was, yeah, you're not going to catch it if you're trying too hard. One of the interesting aspects was that you would think that they would be most tied to cemeteries, and apparently that's absolutely not true. My feeling was that they were hanging around places where they actually worked, like the custom houses. How much does the people, working with energy? There's all these names to people: the Wicca, the witch, sorcerer, person. I think of them all as persons. They're working with energy, and energy is communications. Worked, lived, or loved. Yeah, my favorite story was the little girl who died of flu at the Henry Derby bread and breakfast place. I don't know if I'm giving up too much tour information. This is courtesy. If you go to Salem, take Salem Historical Tours, right? Yeah. She would put the. She died of the flu, so if you stay there, she'll put the blankets on you. Go over there if this COVID thing ever ends. Go to places like that. The ghost stories in that town are pleasant compared to New Orleans. There's a place that was owned by Nicolas Cage, and then after that, Johnny Depp, the famous actors. And the spooky stories from that place are horrific. Some kind of woman who owned slave people and was into sadism. And, there's an aura that's amazing in a town like Salem, but there's something about New Orleans with the bat-like Yeah, Daphne Lorraine's. Is that her? Ah. Can you cut and paste her information into there? Astounding. I was going to get that in my other. Daphne Lorraine's. That would be Johnny Depp's house, right? Yeah. I've been to several Nicolas Cage house places. I was in Sedona and Nick Cage. There's this part with the church up in this big mountain area. And down below you can see some mansion of Nicolas Cage, and it had a one of those observation telescope things there. And he had owed a lot of money from taxes, so he had to unload that place, and he had to unload that Sedona mansion. Sedona is another area with that red Mars brick that's it's undescribable. Even the most I don't know, whatever, atheist, rationalist, materialist person cannot help but get a vibe from that incredible red. New Orleans is crazy because the amount of hoodoo and voodoo that happens alongside the story. I love it. I did 3 or 4 blues jams there in one night, believe it or not. I was a singer. Like it or not, I used to do certain songs too much. Before You Accuse Me, of course. Take a Look at Yourself, a Bo Diddley song. Covered very well by slow hand Eric Clapton. And I've done it there. The Feeling of New Orleans, walking around the streets. There are sigils. They're very actually beautiful but scary. Drawn on the sidewalks there. I tried not to step on them. People working with magic. For whatever reason, it seems more real in NOLA. Was it eerie or peaceful there? It's both. I don't think there's anything like that city. It's southern. There's a Spanish element and there's a French element. The weeping willow trees are incredible. The French Quarter's as good as anything they've got in Europe. It's not being like in the United States. When you get to a certain point, there's a famous white church there. I think Lenny Kravitz himself jammed right there one time. It's the sea level thing, so you look like you're underwater. It's very creepy at night. You got to stick to the downtown, and that's it. To be crass as I am, it has that alcohol and urine smell. In some places, if you're there to sin. You know, the voodoo shops are incredible. There's a place, Stash's Cigars. I got my picture there. I dig it. Would I want to live there? It's like New York City. It's you want to visit, don't want to really stay. I got to look up that name of that. So, anybody else out there? Ghost stories. I have one, which was most telling to me. A person who is not an esoteric thinker like me. A real estate person, I believe this woman was. A person of business. And that struck me as interesting because she got a cheap place in Salem. Very cheap. She experienced the drawers opening. Running a bath. She would go, it'd be cold there. Running a bath, it would be warm. Something was fiddling. We were talking about mischief. A lot of mischief going around, a lot of dark feelings. Finally, one night, she looked out the window, and there was a man or a male shadow person with a serpent-like tail. She described him as moving like a serpent with the tail, coming up over, looking up over the fence with the red eyes. She left that place immediately the next day. I would do that. I hate in those horror movies when people don't leave. Voodoo is on the same line as Ouija boards to me. Super brave and experienced people should be the ones to use, not inexperienced or disrespectful people. There's a cultural element to that art, and I agree. I think a lot of people, shall we say European people, American people, mess around with it. I don't know. I think people who have, for decades now dabbled in cocaine have ruined their lives and they don't know what they're doing. I have a sense that the indigenous people in their lives can deal with the coca. It's the same thing to me with the voodoo, I think. I think that's what you're getting at. That's what I feel too. It's a cultural thing. We shouldn't pass judgments, but to jump in and think you're knowing what you're doing with it is pretty screwed up. I gotta look up this lady. So it's Daphne Lorraine. Voodoo woman of Nola. Let's see if I did this right. Madame Lorraine, voodoo queen that ruled New Orleans. Oh, yeah. I like Joe. I agree. The DMT thing. Slave owner from France that tortured her slaves in unbelievable ways. Madame Lorraine's most sickening acts of torture. Marie Catherine Laveau. She died 1881. She was a herbalist and midwife. The original French spelling, Laveaux. She's a child of a mulatto man and a multiracial woman. I didn't know that. Dedicated practitioner of voodoo as well as a here. St. John's Eve. So, I've always, the voodoo queen. I can remember doing those songs and loving them and not knowing what they are. The hoochie coochie man. You're a hoochie coochie man. Dun 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 dun. Gypsy woman told my mother long time ago, you got a boy child coming, gonna be a son of a gun. Make all the pretty women jump and shout, and the whole world's gonna know what this is all about. You know I'm here. I got the John the Conqueror route. John the Conqueror route. I went into the fascinating place in Austin, Texas, another hip town just like NOLA. I've been there a couple of times. Can't remember the name of the place. There's a Mexican shaman by the name of John there, and he's got a wolf dog, and he's a very nice man, the kindest man. And I bought some John the Conqueror root from him for my mojo bag, but of course I lost it. Marie's lover was one of her slaves, and she was so brutally murdered. The voodoo queen. As I was talking on the tour there, they have the up above ground grave sites in NOLA. And they do that trick to you in NOLA. Where'd you get those shoes? And if you don't respond right, it's a con game that will get you in trouble. They do give you their CD, and then you owe them whatever. They do that stuff, unfortunately, there. They play that trick. Where'd you get those shoes? It's a common thing there. Where'd you get those shoes? The DMT thing. Joe Rogan's got his sensory deprivation tank, and he's a successful guy. He can consult scientists instead of maybe a dude like him could fool around with that. I'm not accusing him or anything. I do know quite a few people that know him, who I respect. So I love his show and everything, but I can't say that I don't have some element of criticism of exactly what Noodlebricks is saying. And I think I've said that on a Stosh YouTube. Are the UFC fighters the greatest guys and fighters in the world and all that? Maybe I'm just jealous of them. I don't know. These are all things that are interesting. Talking about fighting is as weird as talking about ghosts. It's there are many people that know a lot about something or other, and there's only a few that know very much. And even those people don't know everything. The DMT, the pineal gland. Without mentioning who they are, I did put somebody under hypnosis and with a scenario of DMT, and they did see something that looked like a jester or a machine elf. Well, who knows what it really was. They're outside agencies. I prefer not to lay everything at the door of science. I personally don't like aspects. I don't like a lot of science and religion and politics. I don't know if I should admit this on the YouTube, I don't like anything by the overlord, which in previous times you might call the priestly class. I can only learn or do and say what I want, and I need everybody's help, and we need each other's help to figure out stuff. That was my big speech for tonight. Sorry. Jesters and machine elves are pretty common. Okay. Yeah, I guess the jester is what we see on our deck of playing cards, right? The Joker. The Joker. It has sort of that appearance, kind of like with the thing. A servant of the king, right? Interesting. There's a lot of the kings are very tied to occultism. The three women, the three sisters, the witches in Macbeth, they confront the king. In the 300, the Spartan king confronts the witches. He goes through an Oracle of Delphi kind of experience. I'm really rambling, but those are the secrets. We don't have any rites of passage like this now anymore. We have nothing. There's no vision quest. There's no sweat lodges anymore. We don't do anything together. We have nothing in our society in the West, in particular America, to prepare for us for adulthood or old age, or to put our youth or age, whatever age we're in perspective. We have nothing. We do nothing to help each other. We've got nothing. You know, the indigenous peoples, they had a system that, if I could be dramatic, was superior in a lot of ways. And it's getting lonelier and lonelier. We have people have a kid more alone now, especially with the COVID. People obviously die all alone now. People are all alone now. We're looking for likes. I'm excited that 3 people are watching this tonight. I'm an influencer. They're on my YouTube channel. I've got the subscribers and likes. And if anybody's halfway good looking, they get on this thing and take off their shirts and stuff. It's just fucked. Sorry, I went on a diatribe, you guys. The Voodoo Queen. Dun, 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 dun. I think I'm not ashamed to admit it. I think myself and a lot of people. I don't know how much I'm influenced by movies I've seen. You just said Voodoo Queen. I'm thinking right away. You know, of my lack of original thought that I'm willing to admit that I have on here. I'm thinking of Live and Let Die, right? Chasing clout, likes. Where Bond confronts the voodoo priestess, right? And it's Jane Seymour, I think. You know? Bond. Just a desire to be acknowledged and recognized. Yeah. It's eerie, though. I think I read this one, but it's actually affecting the endorphins. You get a rise from getting a like. Then you need more likes and more and more. So you go get Botox. We are more lonely than ever and yet more connected than ever. Paradoxical. Live and Let Die is a good movie. It's crass and it's shady. It's Dr. John D. 007. Switching back to my square glasses. Finally, it heated up in here. Now I'm warm. The dopamine hits? Yeah. Serotonin. What did I say? Endorphins? Doesn't this look like Robert De Niro's shades in Goodfellas? No. Casino. You effing moo-moo. The ghosts are cuddling me. I definitely, I had some lapse of respect. Casino. I do look like Casino. You know, you're out there long enough, and I thought I gave Mrs. Ropes a little bit of lack of respect after another guy was talking about her, and I did have a feeling that I did. I didn't feel good about that. And I felt connected to the story of the Blue Lady scarily, in that I had ever, for years, passing by that alley. For some reason, I took a picture, and I'm so scared of cell phones, the way I don't like them to be on me all the time, that I prefer old crappy digital cameras whenever I can. Just because I don't want to, just because the smartphones themselves seem like open doors to no privacy and many things that I don't understand. And I don't really give a shit about quality as opposed to quantity of trying to take more shots. I don't know if you guys saw, there was one guy that took a picture of his girlfriend on one of those benches over there, and he did the 5 shots, and then there was this rod of energy to her left that I couldn't explain. The orbs are always under question because this is light reflection, dust, little snowflakes in that case. But these rod things to me were much more hard to explain. Hard to explain. But I agree with Banana Bug that the finest ghost stories are not recorded by any means. And so too with the UFO activity. No doubt. There's not that good footage. There we go to Nick's, the 45 minute. I did my best one about the real estate woman. Other than that, my best would be with people that were. I was with this guy, and after I concluded the tour, huge, tall guy took me aside and said, "Can I tell you something?" I thought I was going to have to call an ambulance. He felt the weight on him and the strangulation, and a big fella. I mean, no doubt. And he said he felt it, and his girlfriend said she felt like it was having a turtleneck sweater on it with the strangulation. Now, that would be no big deal if I told the story. Then you would say it would involve the god Hypnos, or the goddess Hypnos. Hypnosis. We're all very hypnotic. Who among us has not driven very, very far every day? You end up at the gym. You don't know how you got there. Who among us has not gone to the store and bought a bunch of shit we didn't need? Because we're hypnotics. Amazon knows this, or any of those websites, or live things just know. So my best is that negative experience, unfortunately. I've never connected to that hypnosis. I've got so many YouTubes in here. I ran some hypnosis activities in here, but I forget them, I apologize to you guys. I have the worst YouTube channel out there. I just do what I want and come on what I want. It's not what you think it is because of stage hypnosis people who are trained to screw around. Hypnosis is not sleep, and it's what it is focused consciousness. When you're under hypnosis, you're actually more aware, really. Then through what we call a script, the hypnotist person guides you through, and you're really actually more focused. I have been in a sensory deprivation tank and had live lucid dreams. That was pretty heavy. I have not done weed or DMT or anything like that, actually, and gone into a sensory deprivation tank. Which one was it? Tell the experience. My strangest experiences has been with chi energy. We have the sight, smell, hearing, touch, taste. The next one is chi. Oh, in the tank, the lucid dream. I was in Arizona and I wanted to see Sedona again, and I saw it in the tank pretty darn clearly. Pretty darn clear. And I'm not what you call a visual person, unfortunately, and I saw it. A nice lucid dream. And the other aspect of it is I achieved you're floating, and I achieved the spirit body, whatever. I achieved a different movement of in there. And in this world of too much remote viewing is different. I've done it with a friend of mine. I'm gonna do another YouTube about that. I've done that with a friend of mine who she lives on the River Ganga in India, and we've worked on that. Yeah, I've read a lot of books on that. I'm so glad, NB, that you brought that up. I will be on soon, and I'll tell you guys when. I'm gonna give my own self a thumbs up. When I'm going to be talking about remote viewing. The government's the pineal gland is all messed up right now in everybody. Where was I going with that? Yeah, the sensory deprivation tank. I mean, I did one. I think I was in the same type of sensory deprivation tank that Joe has, one of those white ones that looks sort of funny, and they're modern. It's still a big difference between the sensory deprivation tank many decades ago that Dr. John Lilly entered, the Harvard professor. There's a movie called Day of the Dolphin, whatever. He was experimenting with LSD, which incidentally we have LSD because of this. It's been synthesized by the CIA. Timothy Leary himself, the king of LSD, admitted that he was we're quote unquote thankful to the agency for it. That the Swiss lab wasn't the only thing engaged in it. It involves the CIA. Weird as hell. There's a Frank Olson guy who was affected by the experiments of LSD, and it's a real case. It's not a conspiracy. It's a documented case that he got so messed up that he jumped off a building. Frank Olson. MK Ultra is a real thing. Who knows how far they've gone it now? I went way off in a tangent. Anyway, Dr. John Lilly, sensory deprivation tank with the oxygen, I don't even think a cool guy like Joe Rogan has access to that type of tank. See the movie Altered States. I'll type this in now. See the movie Altered States. Yeah, MK Ultra. So a lot of people make fun of you if you sort of are skeptical about some of that stuff that they pull, and without much trouble, you can prove it with real depositions and stuff. You don't have to go all X-Files and all that bullshit. It's just there. I remember many years ago, Senator Ted Kennedy said, I'm confident that the agency still doesn't traffic in such things. Do they or do they not? They make fun of people for talking about chemtrails. Just look up geoengineering, Harvard University. Sorry. Geoengineering, Harvard University. The problem is that it's much easier to fool someone than it is to convince someone they've been fooled for their entire lives. Very good point. If you guys can't sleep tonight, I hope you're going to be listening to Coast to Coast AM. They just had this lady that was claiming she spoke Aramaic to the Angels and Demons. That show scared the shit out of me. Noodle and I have studied and watched many documentaries, etc., on this stuff, and anyone we talk to calls us tinfoil hats. Hey, perspective is perspective. Hearsay is hearsay. Fucking knowledge is knowledge. Yeah. Hey, I just prefer people who question things. But that I have to admit, there are some people who do perfectly well, just doing everything they're told. I guess. To each their own. If that's the case, I'm in the tinfoil club. I hope that YouTube doesn't stop purging all these kind of YouTubes where people rap about stuff. Badge of honor. Indeed. Indeed. A badge of honor. We're going up on 1:21:21 minutes. Tinfoil hat, man. My brain is less infiltrated. Yeah, I'm going to get mine laced with tinfoil. Anybody making fun of it, people about the EMFs or something, that's energy, you know? Of course, I don't think I could live without the internet or a smartphone for 5 seconds. I don't like when people insult people and tell them you drank the Kool-Aid, because that involved people who drank the Kool-Aid of Jim Jones and died. I always hate that too. Drink the Kool-Aid. I think people should be more careful when they use such phrases. That was horrific. Anyway, we're going up on 122 minutes. You guys are going to bed after 45 was the thing, I think. Tonight, I'm going to be signing off pretty soon. I am more than honored that Banana Bug and Noodle Bricks came on with me here tonight. I hope that if you guys can dig it, that you join me another time. That we're going to be going into the paranormal deeper. We're going to talk more about ghosts. I think I want to do the, if it's all right with you guys, I think next time I'm going to go more into the UFO thing. I thank you so much for the reference to the Voodoo Queen, with all respect to her. I know we definitely could talk for hours. Let's do this again. This was really good. I hope anybody coming in here can take something from it. The Akashic Record. Yes. 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 The blue pill, red pill technology. Oh yeah, I did that scene in here with Morpheus. Morpheus is related to Hypnos. It all goes back to the Greek and Roman goddesses and gods at some point. So I will give word to you guys by comments or whatever. Then coming, maybe even Friday night we could rap again if you guys are up for it. I don't want to take up anybody's too much time. Or you can always look at it again. I'm looking to do a couple of them on UFOs. I know. I'm wicked glad that I caught you guys too. So without further ado, I'm going to sign off and get a thumbnail on this thing and get this up. And I hope nobody was offended tonight. And I hope you got some information. I hope anybody coming across this gets some stuff and get some good questions and calls George Norrie on Coast to Coast AM. So Noodle Bricks and Banana Bug, have a good night. And I will reach out to this YouTube if I'm on tomorrow night. Maybe we'll be, tomorrow, whatever. Would love to. I think I'm going to try to go more into the UFO thing tomorrow night. Going to talk a little bit about my fun films I've done. Really appreciate it, you guys. I am so happy. You can't believe how happy you guys found me. And I look forward to maybe seeing you tomorrow night. Anybody who listened tonight, good luck. God bless. And let's keep praying that the country comes back together and we can get back to bowling and shit like that. Have a great night, BB and NB. Talk to you soon. Anybody who came across this YouTube. Check. Peace out.